Hello and welcome to Shirley Povich Field here at Cabin John Regional Park as we're set for a little Saturday evening action between the top two teams in the North Division. It's the Gaithersburg Giants and the Bethesda Big Train. Hello everyone, I'm Quentin Corpuel, joined by my broadcast partner Phoebe Winters here on Latin Baseball Appreciation Night at Shirley Povich Field. We've also got a Roberto Clemente Day of Service that each of the Big Train interns and players participated earlier today. Phoebe, I want to ask you about that first. Where were you at this morning and how did it go?
Yeah, so me and a couple of the players and other interns were at the So What Else Food Pantry. That was such an incredible experience. They do so much for the community. The owner was telling us that they started this project when COVID happened, and then they thought they'd do it for maybe a year or so, and then they just realized that there's such a huge need for services like that. So we helped them pass out food to the cars that drove through. We helped them organize the pallets so that they could then sell the pallets. And we also helped them organize the clothing and the toys that they were giving away. But yeah, it was an incredible experience. We met a lot of really cool people. And it just felt nice to be able to give back to the community, especially with how the Bethesda community has given so much to the Big Train this summer.
And we felt it was great that we gave back. I was at Button Farm earlier today in Germantown, along with a few players and a couple other interns, helping weed and take out some overgrowth in some plant beds. I gotta say, Davin Whitaker, pickaxer of the day, by far and away. But we should have a good game here tonight. It's the Big Train and the Giants. Again, the top two teams in the North Division. Major playoff implications on the line. The Giants can clinch the division tonight with a win over the Big Train. They were the only team to play yesterday. The other three, including the Big Trains against the Crop Dusters, which was scheduled in Olney, got rained out. The Giants, they made it through 4.5 innings against the T-Bolts, which was just enough to count it as a full game. They beat the T-Bolts 5-3. Again, they are now one win away from a North Division title. Phoebe, what are you looking for tonight? It's been a little while since the Big Train have played here. 6 whole days. A very, very big difference from the June schedule. A lot of road games here in July. What are you looking for out of the Big Train tonight?
Well, first, it's good to be home at Shirley Povich Field. I'm looking for an electric offense. We saw that in Silver Spring earlier this week. The offense, they got a start early on, and unlike other road games where the bats go cold in the middle of the game, they kept adding on to the score. They were continuously contributing from the plate, and the defense was strong as well. It was, I think you said it at the end of the game, all 3 facets of the game were coming up strong. So that's what I'm looking for today, for them to continue off of that momentum and that success. I think we've finally reached a point of the season where we're seeing a lot of consistency in all parts of the game. So that's what I'm looking forward to today. I think they're 3-2 in the series right now. So looking to get another win over the Gaithersburg Giants would be huge. We saw them fall in the last meeting over in Gaithersburg, so looking to bounce back from that. And again, just keep the offense hot and consistent throughout the entire game.
Should be a good one between two of the top Titans in the Ripken League. We will be back shortly here on Big Train Baseball Network. Looking forward to another exciting edition of Saturday Evening Baseball in the Ripken League.
The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner alone. 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 Boogie down, mix up. Boogie down, fix up. The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you groove. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you boogie down. Hey baby, I love the way you move, boogie down. The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner alone. 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 Boogie, boogie down, baby. Can you boogie down?
Welcome back to Shirley Povich Field here at Cabin John Regional Park as we're set to kick things off shortly between the Giants and the Big Train. Now, you might have noticed if you watched the pregame show, and you might be noticing now that the Big Train are wearing special edition jerseys in honor of the Roberto Clemente Day of Service, as well as a celebration of Latin American baseball. On the front of the jersey says Gran Tren. And on the back, everybody on the Big Train and within the organization, that includes ourselves, has a number 21 on their back. So in case you thought to yourself, wait a minute, Emilio Gonzalez hasn't worn 21 all season. Well, guess what? Everybody is. So I wish our point streak man, the always wonderful Harry Groves, the best in trying to figure out who is who, as he does not have the service of seeing jersey numbers as similarly do we and the Gaithersburg Giants broadcasters as well.
That's right. The number 21 is actually retired within the Big Train organization to honor the legacy of Roberto Clemente.
Here comes Evan Smith's first pitch to Brady Powell. That one's outside for a ball. Roberto Clemente, the legendary Pittsburgh Pirate, was the first Latin American baseball player to be inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1973. Of course, so many great Latin baseball players before and after him. Adrian Beltre, the most recent Latin American baseball player to be elected to the Hall of Fame. The count now 2-1 on the All-Star Powell. As you said, Phoebe, Clemente's number 21 is retired. Sandwiched in between Hunter Renfroe and Hugh Adams down in right field. Here comes the 2-2. That one's high and outside. That'll bring the count full on Powell with the left fielder Aiden Robbins waiting on deck.
Now, as we mentioned during the pregame show, the Gaithersburg Giants just one win away from clinching the league title.
As the 3-2 pitch is popped up into foul territory and out of play. So Powell stays alive against Evan Smith, one of 3 Big Train pitchers to pitch at least 20 innings so far this summer. Another 3-2 pitch. That one fouled off once again.
Now Powell just shy of that 100 at-bats mark, currently batting a .292. Has recorded 19 runs, 1 home run this summer.
Him and Robbins both Ripken League All-Stars. As that one's grounded down the third base line and foul. That's Jack Guerrero over there at third. Now Evan Smith has shown he can go the distance, which not too many pitchers in this league can say they've done before. Smith has gone at least 2 2/3 in all 6 appearances he's made so far this summer. That included his last outing against the Grays. Allowed just 1 earned run and 2 hits in 4 innings pitched.
And the last time these two teams met was in Gaithersburg. Big Train took the first lead, putting up 1 run in the top of the first, and then the bats went cold, were unable to score for the remainder of the game. The Giants ended up with the victory 3-1. So Big Train looking to avenge themselves here at home tonight.
As you said, Phoebe, earlier in the pregame show, the Giants holding a 3-2 lead in the series. If the Big Train were to win tonight, they hold the second tiebreaker over the Giants, as Powell will take ball 4 in the dirt. They hold the second tiebreaker over the Giants in case these two teams do tie for the North Division lead at the end of the season. The first tiebreaker is head-to-head record. The second is head-to-head run differential. The first game between these two teams was the regular season opener. The Big Train won that game 12-3. Each of the games since have been close.
That's right. As you mentioned, first meeting between these two teams, a dominant 12-3 win for the Big Train. Next time they met, Gaithersburg took a 4-3 win. Following that, a 10-8 victory for the Giants. And then Big Train struck back in the series with a 7-3 victory. And then, as we mentioned, the last time these two teams met in Gaithersburg, a 3-1 win for the Giants. So it's been a very close matchup. Most of them have been pretty high-scoring affairs. Last meeting in Gaithersburg, not so much.
And it's been a dream season for the Giants, who were at the bottom of the league last season, have never won a division title. But on the brink today, Powell takes off the throw from Cole Constable down to second, not in time. As the shortstop, or excuse me, that's actually the second baseman, Nato, that tried to get a glove on it, but Powell will swipe second. The count now 1-2 on Robbins.
Justin Nato was one of the Big Train players that joined me at the So What Else food pantry earlier this morning. Helped us move around wooden pallets and distribute food to those in need. Taking over the second baseman position, Jordan Carlson going to be absent from the lineup tonight.
That one's grounded to Franklin at short. He'll fire it over to Gonzalez for out number 1. So that'll bring up the designated hitter, Danny Sheeler. Seen him play a lot of first base this season, but he'll get a break from the field tonight.
Sheeler is leading the Giants in batting average, currently batting a .390. In his 41 at-bats this season, has recorded 7 runs. Has yet to hit a home run this summer, but has only been struck out 6 times. He gave the Big Train quite some trouble in Gaithersburg earlier this week.
Also has a hit in 5 of his last 6 games. Last night against the T-Bolts went 2 of 3. Powell takes off again. That one popped up. Powell might want to get back to second as Bastian's under it. He fires towards second, not in time. So the Big Train unable to complete what would have been an inning-ending double play. But Powell able to make it back to second safely. That will bring up the third baseman and cleanup hitter, A.J. Martin. Also saw him participate in the All-Star game a few days ago. Went 1 of 2 with an RBI.
Martin currently batting a .354 in his 79 at-bats, has recorded 17 runs, 4 home runs.
That included one last night. Again, that was a 5-3 Giants victory over the T-Bolts. That was interrupted by rain that canceled the other 3 games that were supposed to happen. But since the Giants were A, the home team, and B, leading after 4.5 innings, that was enough. That is actually the bare minimum for a complete game should the game be stopped for any reason. So Mother Nature actually helping the Giants last night.
As we mentioned, Big Train, one of the teams that canceled their game last night due to the weather. The Big Train's game with the Crop Dusters has been rescheduled for Tuesday, July 16th.
So it looks like there will not be another off day for the Big Train until the playoffs begin. Starting a week from today, July 20th, will be the play-in games. As the 3-0 pitch to A.J. Martin is in there for a strike. Now Martin has had an absolutely insane summer from a consistency standpoint. He started the opener against the Big Train on June 1st, went 0 for 4. In every single game since, he has recorded at least 1 hit. So that's a 21 game hitting streak for A.J. Martin. As that'll bring up the first baseman, Andrew Holub.
Holub, a newer addition to the Giants lineup. Big Train saw him in Gaithersburg earlier this week. Holub has only recorded 20 at-bats this summer, currently batting at a .350, has recorded 3 runs and 1 home run.
Committed to the University of Iowa, as he'll take that first pitch for a strike. Now the Giants entering today one of just 2 teams in the league with at least 20 wins, the other being Alexandria. Powell takes off again. That one's hit up the middle. Diving is Williamson. He can't get it. Powell's in to score from second. Martin to third. It's an RBI single for Andrew Holub. We've seen Williamson make that play so many times this season, unfortunately unable to come up with that one, And the Giants strike first here in the top of the first as the catcher Barham White steps up to the plate.
An excellent diving effort from Williamson, but as you said, just unable to get a good hand on it. So the Giants strike first.
That one's grounded to Guerrero at third. On to Gonzalez at first for out number 3. But the North Division leading Giants taking an early lead here at Shirley Povich Field, courtesy of an RBI single from the Iowa Hawkeye, Andrew Holub. It'll be the Big Train's first time up to bat when we come back here on Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to Big Train Baseball Network. The Giants have taken an early 1-0 lead as Bethesda will look to strike back here in the bottom of the first. It's going to be Justin Nato leading things off against Jai Sample, as Sample's first offering is low and outside for a ball. Now this is Sample's 5th appearance of the summer, his 2nd against the Big Train, has a 4.50 ERA in exactly 14 innings pitched. As the 1-0 to Nato is outside for ball 2.
Again, Nato, one of the newest additions to the Big Train lineup. Transferred from Jacksonville University to the University of Florida. He actually shared with me today at the So What Else Food Pantry that that's been his dream school since he was a child.
As the Gators chopping early, that one getting away from the left fielder Robbins. Nato flying towards second, and it's a leadoff double for Justin Nato.
Talk about deja vu. Last time the Big Train played was over at Montgomery County Blair High School facing the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts, and Justin Nato recorded 3 doubles that evening. Reached base on 4 of his 6 at-bats. Again, this is just his 4th appearance with the Big Train this summer.
So that'll bring up the doubles king of the Big Train so far this summer, Andrew Williamson. First offering from Sample is inside for a ball. Now Williamson went 0 for 4 a couple of nights ago against the T-Bolts, but did record a couple of walks and an RBI. As the 1-0 pitch is skied into foul territory and out of play down the left field line. That one deflecting off of Dr. Holland's tent. Dr. Holland singing the national anthem before today's game, as he has done many times this season.
Wowing us with his singing abilities yet again.
You can catch a feature that the lovely Ian DeMaca wrote about him on bigtrain.org if you feel so inclined, as the count moves to 1-2 on Williamson.
DeMaca also currently working on a feature story about the Big Train intern and players' community service projects for Roberto Clemente Service Day.
As the 1-2 is popped up out of play. Now, it was a hot one today in Maryland, but definitely worthy work all around. Another 1-2 to Williamson. That one outside, that'll even up the count. So it's going to be Nato Williamson. On deck is the right fielder, Davin Whitaker, followed by the first baseman, Emilio Gonzalez, the left fielder, Jaden Bastion, designated hitter, Josh Skoronsky, the shortstop, Landon Franklin, the catcher, Cole Constable, and rounding things out will be the third baseman, Jack Guerrero.
Davin Whitaker, who, as you said, is on deck, was the designated hitter during the Big Train's last game over in Silver Spring. Had a fantastic night from the plate. Had 2 RBIs, a walk, and 2 hits as well, making base during all of his at-bats that evening.
The 2-2 is hit high into left field down the line and out of play once again. That one headed for the Big Train bullpen. Now our home plate umpires tonight. At home plate, it's going to be Jimmy Sapp, Jesus Morel at first, and Tim Abel at third. Another 2-2 pitch. That one fouled off once again. So Williamson doing a great job of staying alive and running up the pitch count early on Jai Sample. Now Sample has had a couple of lengthy pitching performances in his past 2 outings. Went 4 innings on July 2nd against the Senators and 5 against the Braves on June 27th. That one lined over the glove of first baseman Andrew Hollabin to right field. Flying around third is Nato. He will score without a throw. And an early response here from the Big Train from, you guessed it, Andrew Williamson once again.
Andrew Williamson bringing in the tying run for the Big Train again. Big Train took the first lead during the last meeting between these 2 teams, and then the bats went cold, looking for a much different result from the plate. Looking good so far. No outs on the board. A runner on first, and Andrew Williamson.
The first offering to Davin Whitaker, getting away from Barham White. That'll allow Williamson to take second. So early action on the base pads here for the Big Train. Now they'll try to keep up the first inning momentum. They were unable to do so a few nights ago in Gaithersburg. The 1-0 pitch, that one also inside for ball 2. Now Whitaker has had a nice stretch of games lately. Currently on a 3-game hit streak. has also recorded a hit in 7 of his last 8 games. As the count moves to 3-0 on Whitaker with Emilio Gonzalez waiting on deck. Whitaker this summer, a couple of homers to go along with 22 RBIs. Figures to be an impact player for East Carolina going forward, as there's a big swing and a miss for strike 1. The 3-1. That one lined, fielded cleanly by Brady Powell at second. And he'll get it over to Holub for out number 1. And so that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Gonzalez.
First baseman number 45, Emilio Gonzalez, a sophomore from Florida.
Gonzalez, one of 2 big train players, hitting over 350 at the moment. Justin Nadeau is technically hitting way over 350, but he has obviously taken far fewer at-bats. As the first pitch to Gonzalez is an off-speed, missing for ball 1.
Now off the ground ball from Whitaker. Williamson advancing to third, putting the Big Train's potential second run just a base away.
The 1-0 in there for strike 1. Now Gonzalez has had the last couple of games off. Hasn't played since the All-Star game. As the count moves to 2-1. Pardon me, yes he has. As the 2-1 is hit high and deep into center field. Leighton Lackey's at the warning track. He makes the catch for out number 2. Tagging up is Williamson. He'll score. And the Big Train pull ahead 2-1 thanks to a sac fly from Emilio Gonzalez.
So the Big Train responding early to the Giants' first run, have now taken the lead, hoping to continue the momentum and success from the plate and put on a couple of insurance runs.
Bastion had an RBI single a couple nights ago against the T-Bolts. Has recorded a hit in 3 of his last 4 games. A homer and 17 RBIs so far in the season. As the count moves to 1-1 on Bastion. The 1-1. That one fouled off. Josh Skoronsky waiting on deck, hoping to get an at-bat this inning. Skoronsky along with Whitaker, as well as Keenan Bowman and Matthew Westley, helping out at Button Farm earlier today. As the 1-2 pitch is in there for strike 3. So Sample sends Bastion down looking, but the Big Train respond with some early damage themselves. They now lead 2-1. We'll be back with the top of the second shortly here on Big Train Baseball Network.
Right, thank you so much. Big Train Baseball can't be the special place it is without our sponsors.
Welcome back to Shirley Povich Field here at Cabin John Regional Park. The Big Train have struck back. They now lead 2-1 as we're set to start the top of the second with Tyler DiMartino at the plate for the Giants. Evan Smith still on the mound for the Big Train. Count 1-0 on DiMartino, who recorded a hit last night against the T-Bolts. That one's hit high and deep out into right field. Whitaker settles under it for out number one. So DiMartino is retired quickly. That will bring up the center fielder, Leighton Lackey. Lackey hitting just above 200. Has struggled a bit as of late. Just one hit in his last 5 appearances for the Giants. As the first offering from Smith is in there for a strike.
Now around the Cal Ripken League, it's the bottom of the 9th for the Aces and the DC Grays, who are both tied at 3. Bottom of the 2nd for the Crop Dusters, who are at Silver Spring, currently leading 3-0. And in the bottom of the 2nd for the Senators, who are at the Braves home stadium, both currently tied at 0.
As the 0-2 swung on and missed for strike 3. So Smith working efficiently here in the top of the 2nd. That will bring up the shortstop Masa Kawashima.
Now we mentioned tonight Shirley Povich Field celebrating the legacy of Roberto Clemente as well as Latin American baseball. We're also celebrating our assistant general manager Patrick Chapman has spent 9 years volunteering and working for the Bethesda Big Train. Actually attended his very first Big Train game when he was less than 2 months old.
But Chapman's been working here for almost a decade. But this season will be his last, as Patrick Chapman is going international, headed to the London School of Economics.
It's been such a wonderful part of the Big Train family over the years.
Especially because the Big Train has become a part of him ever since he was, as you said, less than 2 months old.
His parents shared that ever since he was 5 years old, they'd come home with truckloads full of foul balls as he'd be in the stands chasing after them. Still to this day, we can find him chasing after foul balls at our away games.
The instinct never dies, I guess.
But again, just a huge shout out to Patrick Chapman, our assistant general manager at Bethesda Big Train, for all the hard work he's put in over the past 9 years.
And I would say he's, and literally, he has worked his way up the ranks. Started in game operations, really just started selling stuff around the complex here at Cabin John Regional Park, and eventually worked his way up to assistant general manager.
He's really solidified himself as an integral part of the Big Train operation. And his efforts have not gone unnoticed. He will be sorely missed here at Shirley Povich Field.
As Kawashima sent back to first, it'll be the second baseman Powell up to bat. 2 outs here in the top of the 2nd. Kawashima takes off. Gonzalez over to Nato at second. They got him. So Kawashima gets caught stealing. A nice play there from Smith to Gonzalez to Nato.
Please welcome back.
No runs, no hits, 1 left on base for the Giants. We'll be back with the bottom of the 2nd shortly here on Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to Big Train Baseball Network. Bethesda still leading 2-1 as we are set to start the bottom of the second. Sample still on the mound as his first offering to Josh Skowronski is in there for a strike.
Again, Skowronski taking on the role of designated hitter, which we've seen him do twice so far this summer.
As the 0-1 is lined up the middle for a base hit. So a great start for Josh Skowronski, the leadoff hitter aboard here for the Big Train. And that'll bring up Landon Franklin.
Skowronski keeping the good times rolling for the Big Train, who have taken a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the first inning. Landon Franklin was a part of the starting lineup the last time these two teams met, recorded 1 base hit during his 3 at-bats.
Again, trying to carry over the offensive momentum from the first inning. We've seen a couple of times this season the Big Train start hot early, then go cold for the rest of the game.
A very different situation last night in Silver Spring. Big Train did not allow the bats to go cold, put up a 4 spot in the top of the 5th, which carried them to a very hefty victory over the Tacoma Thunderbolts.
So the count now 0-2 on Franklin. Here comes the pitch. That one low and outside. The throw back to first. Just barely not in time. Skowronski able to get back safely, but a great throw from Barham White. Here comes the 1-2. That one hit high and deep into center field. Lackey's under it. He makes the catch for out number 1. So Franklin is retired. That'll bring up the catcher, Cole Constable.
Cole Constable, a sophomore from Quinnipiac University.
Now Constable entering tonight, hitting .214. Recording 8 RBIs and 9 hits. As the first offering clips him. So a quick yet productive at-bat for Constable. That'll put runners on first and second for the 9-hitter Jack Guerrero.
Now batting the third baseman, number 23, Jack Guerrero, a junior from James Madison University.
Now he's had some bumps this season, but has enjoyed a rock-solid stretch recently. His last 3 starts have seen him record at least 1 hit. That included a double a couple nights ago at Montgomery Blair High School as the first pitch jams him into the glove of Martin at third for out number 2. So that'll bring up Justin Nato. Runners still on first and second.
Again, Nato kicking things off strong for the Big Train. Recorded a leadoff double. Had a very successful night the last time he played for the Big Train over in Silver Spring. Again, with 3 doubles as well as a base hit. Looking for some similar success at the plate tonight with runners on first and second. Looking to record some insurance runs on the board.
Nato entering tonight, hitting 7 of 15. Now batting exactly .500 on the season, including the double he recorded in his last at-bat. As the 0-1 jams him right to the shortstop Kawashima, and he flips it over to Powell for out number 3. So no runs, 1 hit, 2 left on base for the Big Train. They still lead it 2-1. We'll be back for the top of the third here on Big Train Baseball Network.
Wow, Natalie.
Wait for me. Keep watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on.
Welcome back to Big Train Baseball Network. The home train maintaining a 2-1 lead over the Giants. Evan Smith still on the mound. The count 0-1 to the leadoff hitter, Brady Powell. Smith trying to work quickly once again here. A tough task ahead of him, though, as it'll be Powell, Robbins, and Sheeler due up.
Again, Danny Sheeler, the resident Magic Man, gave the Big Train a lot of trouble in Gaithersburg the last time that these two teams met.
There's a ground ball to Franklin. That shorty bobbles it. So that'll go down as an E6. Powell aboard to lead things off here in the top of the third. That will bring up Aiden Robbins. So an unfortunate defensive sequence there from Franklin. Looked like he just couldn't get a glove on it there.
Now talk about a deja vu moment the last time these two teams met in Gaithersburg. It was the away team that put up one run in the top of the first. Home team responded with 2 runs in the bottom of the first. And then neither team scored until the home team put up a run in the bottom of the fourth.
As Powell is sent back to first. Already has wreaked a little bit of havoc on the base paths. Led the Giants in stolen bases entering tonight with 13. As he's sent back to first again by Smith. Here comes the 0-1. That one upstairs for a ball.
An update from around the league. Aces and the Grays going into extra innings. Top of the 10th, still tied at 3. Bottom of the 3rd, Crop Dusters still leading the T-Bolts 3-0. It's now the bottom of the 3rd for the Senators, and the Brave Senators have taken a 2-0 lead.
So a lot of those teams battling it out for the last 2 wild card spots, currently held by the Crop Dusters and Braves, as that one's grounded foul down the third baseline for strike 2. If the season ended today, the Aces would get the 1 seed, the Giants would get the 2 seed. Those 2 teams would have byes going into the semifinals. The Big Train would host the Braves, and the Senators would host the Crop Dusters in a 1-game play-in. Again, those games will be held on July 20th, a week from today. The Big Train in pretty solid position to host one of those play-in games. But then after that, it's really anyone's game from 4 to 8. As the count moves full on Robbins, Sheeler waiting on deck. Now I apologize for the early rendition of the hypothetical playoff picture. It'd actually be the Crop Dusters hosting the Senators in a hypothetical play-in as Robbins is sent down. Smith records another strikeout as Danny Sheeler will step up to the plate.
Now batting number 46, Danny Sheeler.
Sheeler, as you said earlier, Phoebe, leading the Giants in batting average entering tonight at a .390 clip. Hasn't played too much this summer. Just 41 at-bats entering tonight. But he was a key contributor in Gaithersburg's 5-3 win over Silver Spring Tacoma last night. Went 2 of 3 with an extra base hit. Has been very important in a semi-limited role amidst what has been a spectacular, unexpectedly awesome season for the Giants.
Again, if the Gaithersburg Giants take the victory tonight, they would clinch the division title. Something the Big Train would love to keep them from doing.
The 1-0 to Sheeler is swung on and missed for a strike. A win tonight would be the first division title in team history for Gaithersburg. They have entered rare air. Started the season 5-5. But have won 16 of their last 21 since, as Constable could not exchange it cleanly between glove and throwing hand, so Powell's got another stolen base.
Now looking ahead for the Big Train, are headed back to Montgomery Blair Stadium tomorrow night to face the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts. That game will start at 6 p.m. the following day. Going to South County High School to face the Braves. And then on Tuesday, going to the Olney Boys and Girls Club to make up the rained out game with the Crop Dusters. And they'll finish the regular season on Wednesday at home to face the DC Grays.
That will be Jewish Heritage Night here at Shirley Povich Field. The great Shlomo Lipetz will be making an appearance here. Definitely looking forward to that. The full count offering to Sheeler. That one smoked, but glove by Nato at second, and on to first for out number 2.
So that'll record the second out of the evening for Danny Sheeler.
AJ Martin.
But Powell taking advantage of the ground ball to second to advance to third base, putting the tying run just a base away for the Giants.
So that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, A.J. Martin. Took a walk in his last at bat as the first pitch from Smith is outside for a ball. Went 1 for 4 the last time these two teams played. As there's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Back on June 19th, Martin hit a towering grand slam off of Brandon Cassidy. As the 1-1 is skied into foul territory, Gonzalez loses his hat, but catches the ball for out number 3. I think that's a trade Gonzalez will make 7 out of 7 days of the week, as the Giants are held scoreless once again here in the top of the third. We'll be back for the bottom half of the inning shortly here on Big Train Baseball Network.
What's in store for us today?
Welcome back to Big Train Baseball Network. Bethesda maintaining a 2-1 lead over the Giants, as Andrew Williamson will lead off the bottom of the third for the Big Train. He'll foul that one off of the shed down the third base line for strike 1.
Again, Andrew Williamson recorded a base hit during his previous at-bat tonight.
The 0-1, that one outside for a ball. Now, we've seen a lot of unique pitching styles this summer. Josh Sample definitely a part of that group. Takes a couple extra seconds early in the windup. Hasn't seemed to throw off the big train just yet, as that one's grounded back up the middle. Bobbled and barehanded by Powell over at second, but not in time. So Williamson reaches base once again. That'll bring up Davin Whitaker, tonight's three-hitter right fielder
Number 26.
and daily pickaxe champion of the Bethesda Big Train.
Andrew Williamson getting on to first has been one of the strongest offensive players for the Big Train so far this summer. Is second in batting average within the Cal Ripken League at .409, second in home runs with 7, and second in base hits with 27. Riley DiCandido leads him in base hits with 28.
Definitely a strong candidate for MVP, as he's sent back to first by Sample. Whitaker, a great night a couple of nights ago, recorded 3 hits against the T-Bolts. The first offering from Sample, that one hit high out of play down the third base line. As there's assistant general manager Patrick Chapman traversing the concourse.
He's itching to find a foul ball. Devin Whitaker, another Big Train player that has crossed the century mark, has recorded 101 at-bats, 15 runs, 33 hits, 2 home runs, 7 doubles, and 22 base hits.
So the count now 0-2 on Whitaker. Here comes the pitch. That one fouled off once again. So Whitaker doing a good job of staying alive here. Williamson looking antsy over at first. A fairly ripe steal situation. There he goes. And there's a ground ball down the first base line.
Everybody clap your hands.
Williamson will have to go back to first. That was pretty cool. I felt like a genie there for a second. So let's see if Williamson will try again.
Again, Big Train looking to record a couple of insurance runs to maintain their lead over the Giants.
The 0-2 is hit high and deep into left center field. And making the catch is Robbins for out number 1. That looked like Andrew Williamson right there. A high fly ball in a deep left center field.
I was going to say, a lot of lift behind that ball. I was thinking it might hit it here catalyst sign over by the scoreboard.
Emilio Gonzalez.
Just a tad short of doing so. But now up at the plate, walking up to poker face by Lady Gaga, Emilio Gonzalez recorded a sac fly during his last at-bat to bring in the first 2 runs for the Big Train.
The first offering is outside for a ball. Let's see if Williamson tries to swipe second again. He'll stay at first as Gonzalez fouls off the off speed. That'll even the count up at 1. Sun's starting to set here at Shirley Povich Field. It was another hot one in Maryland today.
It's currently sitting at 86 degrees.
Gonzalez down the left field line, but foul. Williamson thought about stealing, stopped halfway down the line between first and second, but would have had to go back anyway. So that'll bring the count to 1-2 with one out here in the bottom of the third. Waiting on deck is going to be the left fielder, Jaden Bastian. The 1-2 pitch in there for strike three. Looks like Gonzalez thought that one was a little low. But nevertheless, that'll bring up Bastian with 2 outs. Williamson still on first.
Now batting number 2, Jaden Bastian.
Jaden Bastian along with Justin Nato, Will Clements, and Brandon Cassidy joined me and a couple of other interns at the So What Else Food Pantry earlier this morning.
Always good for the players to connect with the local community. As the 0-1 skips past White, that'll allow Williamson to take second. So a runner now in scoring position for the Big Train. The count 1-1 on Jaden Bastian.
So the Big Train's third potential run now in scoring position. Again, would like to keep the momentum from the plate moving.
As that one's in there for strike 2, Bastian looking to avoid his second strikeout of the night.
Quick update from the league. Aces took a 4-3 victory over the Grays in extra innings.
As there's a pop-up into right center field. Under it is Leighton Lackey, who will make the catch for out number 3. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base.
July 13th.
The game's still 2-1 in favor of the Big Train. We'll be back for the top of the 4th here on Big Train Baseball Network.
It's National Barbershop Music Appreciation Day for those who
The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you groove. Hey baby, I love the way
Welcome back to Shirley Povich Field here at Cabin John Regional Park, as we're going to have a new pitcher on the bump for the Big Train. It's going to be Jack Robinson in relief for Evan Smith.
And again, around the Cal Ripken League, Aces took an extra inning victory over the DC Grays. It's the bottom in the fourth for the Crop Dusters, and the T-Bolts. Crop Dusters have taken a commanding 6-0 lead. Bottom of the fourth for the Senators and the Braves. Senators still sitting in the lead 2-1.
That one lined up the middle for a base hit. So the Iowa Hawkeye commit flying early. Leadoff hitter aboard here in the top of the fourth for the Giants. That'll bring up the catcher Barham White. Now Robinson entering tonight had thrown the most innings out of any Big Train pitcher, exactly 23 so far this season, sporting a 4.69 ERA. Has picked up 3 wins as the bunt attempt from White is fouled off into the backstop. Appeared in that game against Gaithersburg through a no-hit inning, which included a couple of strikeouts. White showing bunt again. He'll pull back. A check swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. So the count moves to 0-2 on White. That's a move we've seen Chris Diaz pull off a few times this season for the Big Train. Diaz not in the starting lineup tonight.
Was in the starting lineup during their last game over in Silver Spring, during which he recorded a base hit in one of his 4 at-bats.
The 0-2 to White's grounded to third under the glove of Guerrero. So that'll put runners on first and second for Tyler DiMartino.
Now batting for the Giants.
Guerrero unable to corral that one.
DiMartino.
That ball shooting under his glove. Definitely not ideal for the Big Train, as that will likely go down as their second error of the night.
Now we saw earlier this week in Silver Spring how costly the errors for Silver Spring became.
As there's a high fly ball in the deep center field. Back is Williamson. That one's off the wall. Hollips flying around third. DiMartino slides into second safely. And it's an RBI double for the Bethesda native. This game's tied at 2.
So the Giants coming back to tie the game, still threatening
Now
to take
batting
the
number
lead.
0, Leighton Lackey.
Big Train looking to shut them down here.
It looked like Williamson initially might have had a play on the ball, but we all quickly realized that the ball off the bat of DiMartino was sailing way over his head. So the Walt Whitman High School alumni, a big hit to tie this game at 2. DiMartino at second. Barham White at third. At the plate, it is the center fielder Leighton Lackey facing a shallow infield. The Big Train looking to keep White over at third, as Lackey fouls that one off to even up the count at 1.
Now Lackey was struck out at the plate during his previous at-bat. Jack Robinson looking to hand him his second strikeout of the night.
That one on just 3 pitches. As there's a check swing from Lackey, but home plate umpire says he went. That'll bring the count to 1-2. Again, the home plate umpire for tonight, Jimmy Sapp. The 1-2 from Robinson, that one in the dirt. Now, over the past couple of days, Robinson's actually got some company on the Big Train roster with the recent addition of Trevor Ort, also from Roanoke College, as that one's grounded to Gonzalez at first. He'll flip it over to Nadeau for the out. A heads-up play from the future Florida Gator. Robinson was not going to get to first in time. So a great play by Nadeau to record out number 1. That'll bring up Kawashima. Two runners still in scoring position for the Giants.
Masa Kawashima.
Now it'll be interesting to see if Ort pitches. It would mark one of the crazier developments in the Rifkin League this season. Ort has mainly worked game operations here this summer for the Big Train, but was added to the roster not too long ago, as there's a big swing and a miss from Kawashima. So from concession stand to pitching mound, definitely one of the more unique in-season journeys.
And Trevor won't be making any appearances at Shirley Povich Field on the mound, as he is busy running the concession stand. But might be making an appearance when the Big Train hits the road tomorrow. Again, Trevor, another wonderful, friendly face around Shirley Povich Field. Plays at Roanoke College with Jack Robinson, who is currently on the bump.
Also an alumnus of South County High School. So we could see Ort's return to his high school stomping grounds when the Big Train visit the Braves early next week. 2-1 to Kawashima. A great backhand stop by Constable to keep that one in front.
Nearly tripped up Kawashima at the feet.
So that'll bring the count to 3-1. That one outside for ball 4. That'll load up the bases for the leadoff hitter, Brady Powell. A precarious situation here for Robinson.
That also records the second walk of the night for Kawashima. Again, the Giants have already scored 1 in the top of the 4th to tie the game at 2. Big Train looking to prevent them from taking the lead.
First offering to Powell's grounded up the middle for a base hit. White's in from third. DiMartino will stop at third. And the Giants retake the lead on an RBI single by Brady Powell. Those ground balls up the middle have really snake bit the Big Train so far this summer, and it's not necessarily anyone's fault. That's just a part of the field where no one ever really is.
An excellent hit from Powell has now reached base during all 3 at-bats this evening.
The first offering to Aiden Robbins is upstairs for a ball. Now, we've seen the Big Train fare pretty well in high-scoring games, as that one a big swing and a miss for strike 1.
Again, Robbins was struck out during his last at-bat.
We saw earlier in the season a ton of fireworks from the Big Train offense, including the exhibition game. They started the season 4 straight games of at least 10 runs, all 4 of those wins. The Big Train have won all but 2 games in which they've scored double-digit runs. Last time they did that was July 2nd, which was a 15-8 victory over the Metro SoCo Braves in Lorton. So the count 2-2 here on Robbins. Again, DiMartino at third, Powell at first, Kawashima on second.
Only one out on the board for the Giants so far.
There's a high pop-up into shallow right field. Whitaker's got it for out number 2. DiMartino will stay at third. So a productive out there for the Big Train. That'll bring up Danny Sheeler in a potentially huge spot here. Again, major playoff implications on the line for both teams. More so the Giants, as they can clinch the North Division for the first time in team history with a win tonight. But even if they lose tonight, they will still have a pretty good shot at taking home the division, as there are only a few games left here in the regular season. First pitch to Sheeler. That one's fouled off, out of play. That one actually caught in the Big Train bullpen. Couldn't get a glimpse of who it was, especially considering all the Big Train players are wearing the exact same number. But a heck of a catch in the bullpen. Unfortunately for the Big Train, we are not playing banana ball, where that would have counted as an out. Count moving 1-1 on Sheeler.
And with 2 runners in scoring position and 2 outs on the board, Giants with a special opportunity here to take an extensive lead over the Big Train. Robinson just 1 out away from preventing further damage.
The 2-1, that one inside for ball 3. Now it's funny, if we flash back to the first game of the season, the Big Train dominated the Giants 12-3. I think a lot of us thought that the Big Train were going to be dominant once again and that the Giants were going to remain in the cellar. Those two ideas going 0 for 2. As the 3-1 for Robinson, a huge swing and a miss, literally and metaphorically. So that'll bring the count full on Sheeler. The money pitch from Robinson, fouled off.
Sheeler coming up with some magic to stay alive, to face the full count yet again. It's like pulling a quarter out of someone's ear. He's giving Robinson another chance at the money pitch.
Another money pitch from Robinson. That one fouled off once again. This time jamming Sheeler inside. The 3-2 pitch, that one upstairs for ball 4. That'll bring in DiMartino from third, and that'll increase the Gaithersburg lead to 2.
Sheeler has now reached base for the first time this evening on a walk.
That'll bring up A.J. Martin. The base is still loaded with 2 outs. Again, the last time he came up to the plate here at Shirley Povich Field with the bases loaded, he knocked Brandon Cassidy out of the game with a grand slam. As we're going to get our first mound visit of the night, Coach Craig Lopez offering some words of encouragement to Robinson. I've actually still got my Coach Lopez hand fan right here.
I still have one in my car.
And we all got hand fans featuring the beautiful and lovely face of Patrick Chapman. So the mound visit will conclude. Martin will step up to the plate. For 1 so far tonight. The first offering from Robinson is fouled off.
Martin recorded a walk during his first at-bat. Has yet to get a hit off tonight.
The 0-1 to Martins, hit high and deep into right field. Has he done it again? Yes! A.J. Martin with a grand slam. It's deja vu all over again. And the Giants have ballooned their lead to 8-2. That is absolutely unbelievable.
Martin finding quite a bit of success here at Shirley Povich Field. His second grand slam at the Big Train's home field. Big Train now in a huge score deficit. Gonna need to kick things into gear in the bottom of the 4th when they return to the plate.
Number 32, Andrew Hula.
So not only has A.J. Martin hit multiple grand slams in the same Summer League season, but they have come against the same team in the same park in a very similar situation. The grand slam earlier in the season from Martin gave the Giants an 8-3 lead. This one extending the Gaithersburg lead to 8-2. Now a 7 spot here in the top of the 4th.
As you mentioned the last time, grand slam from A.J. Martin, bringing the Giants to an 8-3 lead over the Big Train. Giants went on to win that game 10-8 after the Big Train started to put up big numbers in the later innings.
The count now 1-1 on Holub.
Big Train hoping to not have to rely on their late inning magic that we've seen many times this summer and keep the bats relatively warm.
As that one's fouled off of Constable. He has taken an absolute beating this summer behind the plate. It feels like at least once a game I worry a little bit about his health. As the count moves to 1-2 on Holub. But almost every single time he's been able to walk it off. The 1-2 from Robinson. Outside for a ball. The entire Big Train defense thought that one was a strike. They started heading back to the dugout almost in perfect unison. As that one's grounded foul down the third base line.
Holub has recorded back-to-back base hits. Reached base on all 2 of his at-bats so far this evening. Robinson looking to break that streak here and end the damage.
The 2-2 line past a diving Nato. So the Giants continue to pour it on here as Holub reaches base with 2 outs. That'll bring up the catcher Barham White. An early gut punch here from the Giants.
Now batting number 31, bottom right.
Now, I don't say knockout punch because it feels like a lot of times the Big Train have found themselves down big early. They're able to come back.
Just what happened the last time the Giants played at the Shirley Povich Field. Again, Giants went on to win that game 10-8, but the Big Train coming back in a big way after falling 8-3.
After Martin hit the grand slam, the moment the ball cleared the fence, a tsunami of shock struck the crowd here at Shirley Povich Field. You could definitely feel a change in energy as there is another base hit. This time through the hole on the left side. The Giants working every part of the field here in the top of the fourth.
The Giants not giving the Big Train a chance to breathe, squeezing them yet again.
As they have also officially batted around here in the top of the fourth. Tyler DiMartino stepping up to the plate for the second time this inning, as it looks like we are going to have a pitching change here for the Big Train. An offensive explosion here for the Giants. So it looks like Aiden Rittenauer will come in relief for Jack Robinson. We'll be right back shortly here on Big Train Baseball Network.
The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner, no. 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 Boogie down, mix up. Boogie down, fix up. The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you groove. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you boogie down. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Boogie down.
Welcome back to Big Train Baseball Network. It's going to be Aiden Rittenauer who has been tasked with a task that seemed pretty elementary at the start of this inning, but has become a lot tougher over the past large handful of at-bats as the Giants have taken an 8-2 lead.
Now, we mentioned the last time these two teams met, it was an uncharacteristically low-scoring game. Giants quickly rectifying that with a huge offensive explosion. Put up 7 runs so far, still have runners on first and second with 2 outs on the board.
As the 0-1 to DiMartino's grounded to Franklin. Gets it over to Nadeau at second for out number 3. But my, oh my, what an early offensive onslaught from Gaithersburg. They lead by 6. Let's see if the Big Train have the fighting spirit within them once again. We'll be back here on the Big Train Baseball Network.
Appreciation Night.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. The Big Train now trailing 8-2. It's going to be Josh Skoronsky leading things off for Bethesda as they try to rectify what has suddenly become a huge deficit. There's a high fly ball down the right field line and foul.
The Polish Hammer looking to hammer a couple of runs home for the Big Train to make this a competitive game once again.
Skoronsky sharing a nickname with Washington Wizards legend Marcin Gortat. Also spent most of his career with the Wizards, Suns, and Magic, as there's a grounder to Kawashima at short. The throw over to first in time for out number 1. Nice extension there by Holub. As stepping up to the plate is honorary number 21, Landon Franklin.
Not far off from his typical jersey number, which is 22. Hopefully he's emulating Taylor Swift and feeling 22.
I was literally thinking something very similar. I was thinking, what if he either doesn't like her at all or is a total Swiftie that we just haven't heard about yet. I think either of those would be very funny. So the count now 1-1 on Franklin. 0 for 1 so far tonight. A swing and a miss for strike 2. That one actually a foul ball into the glove of White.
Again, a crushing 7 spot in the top of the 4th has given the Giants a hefty lead over the Big Train.
There's a high pop up into center field. And Lackey's got it for out number 2. So that'll bring up Constable with 2 outs and no one on base.
But as we've come to know about the Big Train, it's not over until it's over. Big Train been known to put up a lot of late innings runs to come back with a victory or either come very close to it.
As the first pitch missing for ball 1.
Again, hoping to not have to rely on some late inning magic and reheat the bats at the plate and eat into the score deficit they found themselves in.
Now the Big Train have some experience themselves exploding offensively in singular innings. That's what happened a little while ago against the Grays in what was eventually a 13-0 Mercy Rule victory. As that one's grounded over to third, fielded cleanly by Martin. Well, that one getting by Holub at first. Cole Constable's been under siege from baseballs all night long, whether it's behind the plate or hustling over to first. So that'll go down as an error in the scorebook, bringing up Jack Guerrero with 2 outs and 1 on.
During Constable's first at-bat this evening was hit by the pitch, so quite literally being chased down balls tonight from left and right. But the Big Train getting a chance to breathe, now have a runner on base, 2 outs on the board. 9-hitter Jack Guerrero at the plate, looking to start to eat in to the 6-run score deficit.
The first offering from Sample to Guerrero's outside for a ball. A pretty good crowd here at Shirley Povich on a lovely Saturday summer night. As the count moves to 1-1 on Guerrero. Now I will say, if we power ranked the 4 seasons of the year, I'd probably put summer third. But there's a certain charm about it on nights like tonight which really cannot be replicated by the other 3 seasons.
I certainly agree. I think there's just something about summer nights at a baseball field. We've talked about it before. The sport of baseball can be so romantic at times.
Here comes the 1-2. There's a pop-up into foul territory. Racing over is Martin. That ball will fall out of play, so Guerrero will stay alive. And as a lot of sports are in sports movies, baseball is portrayed in some as a little rosier, and the charm is very much amplified, but it's true. It's real. And so I always feel thankful and blessed for these opportunities to talk about the game all the time. As there's another foul ball by Guerrero, barehanded by Davin Whitaker over there in the dugout.
There are a few things that are better than sitting in the stands on a summer evening, watching baseball with a good hot dog.
Another 1-2 to Guerrero. The throw down to first, not in time. So the count evens up on Jack Guerrero, the 9-hitter. Justin Nato hoping to get an at-bat this inning. The 2-2 pitch gets by White. So that'll allow Constable to take second. I worried a little bit for him if White was going to get that ball and throw it down to second. I feel like it would have found its way to the body of Cole Constable somehow.
It's been a ball magnet this evening.
The full count offering to Guerrero, missing for ball 4. So a great at-bat there from Guerrero. That'll put runners on first and second for Justin Nato.
Again, Nato kicked things off for the Big Train with a lead-off double. Had 3 doubles in Silver Spring, along with a base hit. Looking for another productive at-bat to eat into the 6-run score deficit.
So we're going to have our first mound visit of the night to Sample. It doesn't look like he's going to be subbed out, although there is some action in the Giants bullpen. Now, as the Jeopardy theme music serenades Shirley Povich Field, I have to ask, because I don't think I have all summer long, do you think...
Jeopardy with my parents, and we do try and guess the answer before it's revealed.
Could you imagine if you were on and it was one of the categories was general farm knowledge?
I would kill it.
I remember there used to be, I'm not sure if it's still running, there used to be a sports version of Jeopardy.
That would be fun. I would enjoy that, like sports history, weird rules.
But it's really been dependent on the category. For example, there have been very specific ones like 15th century Belgian authors. I just take myself out of that one. I don't even try.
And recently they had Jason Kelsey giving the questions to the Jeopardy contestants via video. That was a fun episode to watch.
The count 1-1 on Nato. Runners on first and second. That one hit high and deep into right field. And it's caught at the warning track by DiMartino for out number 3. So the Big Train strand a pair. They've still got a lot of work to do. The Giants looking to add on to their commanding 8-2 lead. I'll try and do that when we come back here on Big Train Baseball Network.
Meet me in the corner alone. 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 Boogie, boogie down. Baby, can you boogie down?
Park. The Big Train still trailing 8-2. Aiden Rittenauer still on the bump, facing Leighton Lackey to start things off. And the count will move to 1-0 as it'll be 8-9-1 due up for the Giants.
Can the Giants put up a commanding 7 spot in the top of the 4th
As that shallow fly ball is gloved by Nato for out number 1. That'll bring up the shortstop Masa Kawashima. Now Rittenauer has enjoyed a really solid summer thus far. The Ripken League All-Star sports a rock-solid 3.06 ERA in just under 15 innings pitched. Has picked up a couple of wins so far this season as the count moves to 1-0 on Kawashima.
Rittenauer also represented the Big Train in the Northern Cal Ripken League in the All-Star game on Tuesday.
The count now 3-0 on Kawashima with Powell waiting on deck. And Kawashima will take his base, pardon me. That'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Brady Powell.
That records the 3rd walk of the night
Now batting number
for
19,
Kawashima.
Brady Powell.
Again, the Big Train hoping to freeze the bats of the Giants and give themselves a fighting chance from the plate to come back from a 6-run deficit.
As Kawashima is sent back to first by Rittenauer. Kawashima has stolen a couple of bags. This is his 12th game of the summer. Has already recorded 10 hits. As the first offering to Powell's in there for a strike.
Again, Powell has reached base during all 3 at-bats so far this evening. His previous at-bat was a base hit.
There's a fly ball into right field over his Whitaker. He's got it for out number 2. So that'll bring up the left fielder Aiden Robbins. Kawashima still at first with 2 outs.
Now batting number 23.
Robbins
Aiden
has yet
Robbins.
to reach base so far this evening. Rittenauer hoping to keep that way.
Kawashima takes off. The first pitch high and inside. The throw down to second, not in time. So that's Kawashima's 3rd swiped bag of the summer. He's now in scoring position with 2 outs.
A speed demon around the base path, giving the Big Train a lot of trouble, putting the Giants' 9th potential run in scoring position at second.
The 1-0. That off speed in there for a strike. The 1-1 from Rittenauer, that off speed high for ball 2. Night beginning to fall here on Bethesda. Kawashima thought about taking third but decided not to as the count moves to 3-1 on Aiden Robbins. Sheeler waiting on deck. Here comes the 3-1. That one swung on and missed for strike 2. The full count offering, that one popped up into foul territory and out of play. That one landing just by the batting cages down the right field line. Another full count offering. That one lined into right field. Can Whitaker get there? Yes, he can! Oh, Davin Whitaker, an incredible catch to end the inning.
Davin Whitaker once again preventing Robbins from reaching base this evening. An excellent diving catch from the right fielder.
So the Giants held scoreless, but they remain ahead 8-2. We'll be back for the bottom of the fifth shortly here on Big Train Baseball Network.
Follow on Instagram.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. What could easily turn to the Andrew Williamson show once again. Maybe right now, nope. Maybe in a pitcher a little more as the count moves to 1-0.
Williamson has had back-to-back base hits so far this evening. He has been known to pay his rent at second base with many a double.
Speaking of second base, that one's popped up right there. Under it is Powell, who's got it for out number 1. Are you his landlord or something? Why do you keep talking about rent?
Now batting number 26, Davin Whitaker.
As that'll bring up Davin Whitaker, fresh off of a web gem in right field.
Made the half-inning ending catch from right field, looking to carry his fielding success over to the plate, create some action around the base path for the Big Train.
As there's a ground ball right to first. Holub able to handle the hot shot for out number 2. So that'll bring up Gonzalez with 2 outs and no one on. I was about to say Whitaker has had a really successful day of swinging large objects. Was extremely efficient cutting out weeds and other unwanted plants up at Button Farm earlier this morning.
So with 2 outs on the board now for the Big Train, really hoping for some 2-out hitting success to cut into the 6-run deficit they found themselves in. Quick update from around the league. It's the bottom of the 7th over in Silver Spring. Crop Dusters leading 7-1. Top of the 7th for the Senators and the Brave Senators leading 5-2.
As the count moves 3-0 on Gonzalez with Bastion waiting on deck. The T-Bolts fighting for their playoff lives. The Senators looking to regain home field advantage for a potential play-in, as Gonzalez will take his base on 4 pitches. That'll bring up Bastion with 1 on and 2 outs. The Crop Dusters looking to maintain home field advantage in a potential
Now
play-in.
batting number 2,
And the Aces looking
Jaden Bastion.
to capture the 1 seed once again. but the Giants giving them a good run for their money. The first offering to Bastion is popped out of play. That one headed for the parking lot. The count now 1-1 on Jaden Bastion. Fellow pickaxe swinger Josh Skoronsky waiting on deck. Here comes the 1-1. That one low and outside for ball 2. Here comes the 2-1. That one in the dirt. Good backhand stop by White to keep that one in front of him. So the Big Train looking for a little 2-out spark. Again, Skoronsky waiting on deck.
Again, the bats have gone relatively cold since the bottom of the first when the Big Train put up their only 2 runs of the evening. Situation they saw themselves in the last time they saw the Gaithersburg Giants in Gaithersburg.
Here comes the 3-1. That one in there for strike 2. Looks like Bastion might have thought that was ball 4.
Was fully prepared to sling that bat. But he'll have to remain at the plate to face the full count.
The full count offering to Bastion. That one's outside for ball 4.
And Gonzalez charging over to second. So runners now on first and second for Josh Skoronsky.
And it looks like we will have a pitching change as Jai Samples' night will be complete. A really solid effort after getting tagged in the first inning. 3 scoreless right after that. So we'll be right back after a short commercial break here on Big Train Baseball Network.
Wait for me. Keep watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on and on. Hoping I can get to know you better. Living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we want. 2 kids come alive in a night rush. I'll be the girl next door. You be my summer crush. Yeah, I think you should come and pick me up. 'Cause nothing feels as good as summer love.
Welcome back to Big Train Baseball Network. The new pitcher on the bump, it's Jackson Bauer facing Josh Skoronsky with runners on first and second and 2 outs as the first pitch is in the dirt for a ball.
Again, the Big Train with 2 outs on the board have a runner aboard first and second after Bastion took a walk.
So Jackson Bauer, originally from CCBC Catonsville, transferred to Hofstra. Has enjoyed a pretty solid summer so far. A 3.20 ERA in just under 20 innings pitched. Actually picked up a win in his last outing against the Aces on July 5th. Allowed just 1 earned in 5 innings pitched, as that one's popped up way high into shallow left field, and it's caught for out number 3 by Robbins. So once again, the Big Train strand a pair. They remain behind 8-2. We'll be back for the top of the 6th here on Big Train Baseball Network.
Come to the side door of the concession.
You think you should come and pick me up, 'cause nothing feels as good as Two kids come alive in a night rush. I'll be the girl next door, you'll be my summer crush. You think you should come and pick me up, 'cause nothing feels as good as summer.
Now batting number 46.
Welcome back to Big
Danny
Train Baseball
Sheehan.
Network. The Giants looking to extend their lead here in the top of the 6th inning. Aiden Rittenauer still on the bump for the Big Train, as his first offering to Danny Sheeler is an off speed in there for a strike.
Now to our loyal Big Train Baseball Network listeners. If you listened to the broadcast last year, then you heard the voice of Adam Glover. Our very own is making his AAA broadcasting debut right now. You can listen on ESPN 690 to listen to him broadcast for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Congratulations to Adam Glover.
The count moving to 3-1 on Sheeler. So many Big Train broadcasting alum have gone on to do great things. Adam Glover, absolutely one of them. Solidified himself as a legend here within the organization last season, and has remained a mentor even when he's in North Florida. The count still full on Sheeler with A.J. Martin waiting on deck. Another 3-2 pitch. That one fouled off.
Sheeler now staring down a full count.
That one jamming Sheeler, popped up into foul territory and out of play.
has earned himself the nickname of train conductor by the Gaithersburg Giants crew. Once again, he's given the big train a lot of trouble throughout the summer.
Another 3-2 pitch, another foul ball. The tennis courts bordering Shirley Povich Field seeing a lot of action from the sky so far tonight. And that one's outside for ball 4. A fantastic at-bat from Sheeler.
Sheeler taking his second walk of the night.
Now batting number 7, A.J.
And you might want to play the Jaws theme because up comes A.J. Martin.
Martin knocked in his second grand slam at Shirley Povich Field during his previous at-bat. Rittenauer looking to freeze Martin's bat here.
And he'll show bunt but pull back, although that first pitch was in there for a strike. Let's see if he tries to lay another one down. He'll swing away and foul that one off. So Martin in a quick 0-2 hole. Still no outs here in the top of the 6th. Danny Sheeler aboard first.
Andrew Holland.
Now a quick scheduling update for the big train. They will be hitting the road tomorrow to face the T-Bolts at Montgomery Blair High School. And the day after that, we'll be headed to South County as this one's hitting the left field, but caught by Bastion for out number 2. After their last road contest of the regular season in Lorton, they will come back home for the final regular season game.
Number 31, Barham White.
Andrew Holub recorded base hits on his first 3 at-bats. Jaden Bastion preventing him from reaching base for the 4th time this evening. Giants now have 2 outs on the board, a runner on first.
First pitch to Barham White is hit to Saturn. That one coming back down and into the glove of Emilio Gonzalez for out number 3. So the Giants held scoreless once again. The big train will look to scratch across some runs for the first time since the first inning when we come back here on Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. It's going to be 7-8-9 due up for the Big Train here in the bottom of the 6th inning, as the first offering to Landon Franklin is upstairs for a ball. Now, I do want to apologize. I gave you all watching or listening, wherever you are, some false future scheduling. Now, sandwiched in between the road game at South County and the home game against the Grays will be a makeup game in only against the Crop Dusters, as that one's grounded to Kawashima at short. Fires it over to first for out number 1. So the Big Train will have a 3-game road stand before coming back to Shirley Povich for the last regular season game against the DC Grays, as Cole Constable steps up to the plate.
An update from around the Cal Ripken League in the top of the 8th. In Silver Spring, Crop Dusters a commanding 8-1 lead. And the Senators still holding a 5-2 lead in the top of the 8th over the Braves.
The count now 2-0 on Cole Constable.
Constable has reached base during both his at-bats tonight. The first one was a hit by pitch. The second, a fielding error from the Giants, allowed him to reach first.
As the count moves 3-0 on Constable. This is shaping up to be the least physically turbulent at-bat for Constable so far tonight. That one in there for a strike. As the 3-1 is lined foul down the right field line. That one flying into the parking lot. That'll bring the count full on Constable. Waiting on deck is Jack Guerrero. As he'll call time. Step out of the box for a brief moment to recollect himself, as night has officially fallen here in Bethesda. Again, the count full on Constable with 1 out and no one on here in the bottom of the 6th, as he will take ball 4 inside.
So Constable now reaching base for the 3rd time this evening. A hit by pitch, a fielding error off of a ground ball, and now a walk out to first.
23, Jack Guerrero.
Guerrero was walked during his previous at-bat this evening.
The first offering to Guerrero, an off-speed that tails low and outside for a ball. Guerrero took a walk in his last at-bat, but was ultimately stranded, as the 1-0 is in there for strike 1. As it looks like on the concourse, we have the hot dog banana race ready to go at the half inning. Guerrero lines that one foul down the first base line to bring the count to 1-2. I will say it was an absolute pleasure being able to MC the race the other night. A big shout out to our lovely intern Lexi Cullen for showing me the ropes. As the 1-2 is grounded to first, fired over to second for 1. Guerrero not hustling out of the box, although he appears to be gimpy. It's going to be a double play to end the inning. So it looks like Guerrero might have gotten nicked up, but the Giants able to capitalize. An odd ending there to the bottom of the 6th. The Giants still leading 8-2. Hopefully Guerrero is okay. The umpires are actually going to meet to discuss this. Guerrero will remain on first. Definitely one of the weirder double plays we've seen. And it will be a double play. So the inning will end. We'll be back shortly here on Big Train Baseball Network. An unfortunate sequence of events for the home team.
The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner, no. 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 Boogie down, mix up. Boogie down, fix up.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Bethesda still trailing 8-2 as we've got a new pitcher on the bump. It's going to be Jake Titus in relief of Aiden Rittenauer. And his first offering to Tyler DiMartino is upstairs for a ball. Now, we just got an explanation of what happened last inning on the funky double play. Essentially, Jack Guerrero, when he hit what was essentially a swinging bunt down the first base line, the home plate umpire, Jimmy Sapp, he initially ruled the ball fair. That's his call. The first base umpire, Jesus Morel, ruled the ball foul. In that situation, it is the home plate umpire's discretion of whether a ball was fair or foul. So it was Jimmy Sapp's call that stood, not Morel's at first. Unfortunately for Guerrero, he was looking at Morel at first, who was signaling foul, which is why he got a very late start out of the box.
Just another instance of having to look at the person with the authority to make the call a mistake we have made up in the booth a couple of times throughout the summer. So an unfortunate double play to end the half inning for the Big Train. looking to come back big when they return to the plate in the bottom of the 7th.
The count moving full on DiMartino. Had a big RBI double earlier in the game. Part of that 7-run top of the 4th as he'll take his base once again. In the process, launching that ball back, or excuse me, launching the bat in the vicinity of Indiana as Leighton Lackey will step up to the plate.
Leighton Lackey.
Again, it's Jake Titus on the bump for your Bethesda Big Train, coming in to relieve Aiden Rittenauer.
Haven't seen too much of Titus so far this summer, but brings SEC level pedigree from the University of Kentucky. First pitch to Lackey's outside for a ball. Lackey's been rock solid in center field for the Giants so far this summer. As the count moves to 2-0. That one getting by Constable. That'll allow DiMartino to jog over unobstructed to second. DiMartino, not much of a speedster, also coming off of a foot injury at Xavier, but had more than enough time to get to second on the passed ball. To count 3-0 on Lackey. Kawashima waiting on deck. That one in there for strike 1. Titus battling back here. Lackey thought that was ball 4.
Lackey now forced to face the full count.
And he'll take a walk over to first.
That'll be the first time this evening that Leighton Lackey has reached base.
So that'll put runners on first and second for Masa Kawashima, as we'll have a mound visit between Constable and Titus. The Big Train looking to avoid falling behind by too much.
Masa Kawashima been quite the walk magnet, has drawn 3 walks so far this evening.
Kawashima doesn't offer opposing pitchers a very big strike zone to work with. Listed at just 5'10", 165 on the Ripken League website. Also has a stance that positions himself very low to the ground. First offering to Kawashima, missing for a ball. That one in there for a strike. Titus also one of several fireballers in the Big Train bullpen. As Kawashima shows bunt but pulls back. One strength of the Big Train bullpen is the amount of collective velocity they possess. Count moves 3-1 on Kawashima. Battling back, let's see if he can finish the job here. That one fouled off. We saw earlier in the season a lot of the opposing team's runs came with 2 outs. As that one's outside for ball 4, that'll load up the bases for the oh-so-dangerous Brady Powell, as we're gonna have a mound visit with Coach Craig Lopez.
That also records Kawashima's 4th walk of the night. Been drawing walks left and right. Once again, as you mentioned, Brady Powell going to be next up at bat. It's been very dangerous from the plate. Took a walk during his first at bat. Got a hit onto first and followed it up with a base hit. Bastion prevented him from reaching base during his previous at bat. Big Train pitching and fielding squad looking to prevent any more runs from scratching the plate. Already sitting in a 6-run deficit, Giants now threatening once again with bases loaded and no outs on the board.
And that's now the 10th walk allowed by Big Train pitchers. As Titus in a jam here in the top of the 7th inning. The first offering to Powell, that one outside for a ball.
Number 19, Brady Powell.
Here comes the 1-0. That one outside for ball 2. It's DiMartino on third, Lackey at second, Kawashima at first. A lot of speed on second and third, also at the plate, as the 2-0 is grounded foul. So you gotta think a ball to the wall likely clears the bases.
Titus in quite the jam with no outs on the board yet for the Giants. Bases loaded up behind him.
The 2-1. That one inside for ball 3. Waiting on deck is Robbins. Has yet to reach base tonight. That one fouled off for strike 2. So Titus has done an admirable job of gaining back ground once he's fallen behind. Just hasn't been able to finish the job yet here in the top of the 7th. Let's see if he can do it here on Powell. No, he cannot. So Powell will take his base. That is the 11th walk of the game for the Giants. DiMartino will trot home. That'll extend the Giants' lead to 9-2. Aiden Robbins stepping up to the plate.
Now batting number 23, Aiden Robbins.
Big Train now finding themselves in a 7-run deficit. Can't afford any more mistakes.
First offering to Robbins sails over the head of Constable. Lackey will stay at third. So at the moment, it doesn't look like there's any action in the Big Train bullpen. Looks like Titus might have to figure this one out himself. That one grounded right back to him. They'll get the force at home for out number 1. Not in time at first. So a productive out there, a smart play from Titus. So that keeps the game at 9-2. Danny Sheeler stepping up to the plate. Base is still loaded with 1 out.
Now batting number 46, Danny Sheeler.
First offering to Sheeler. That one swung on and missed for strike 1. Sheeler with a high fly ball into right center field. That one gets down and rolls all the way to the wall. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in. It's a base clearing double for Danny Sheeler. And the Giants now lead by 10.
Again, Danny Sheeler coming up with some magic for the Giants, have now extended their lead to 10 over the big train. A high fly out to the warning track, recording a double for the man that's been.
And the first pitch to Martins hit high and deep into left center field. Williamson's got it for out number 2. Tagging up is Sheeler. The throw to third is in time. They got him.
Andrew Williamson coming up big from center field for the big train, preventing any further damage.
But as you said, Phoebe, the damage has already been done. The Giants leading 12-2 thanks to a 4-spot. We're going to stretch, and hopefully the big train can recalibrate. We'll be back for the bottom of the 7th here on Big Train Baseball Network.
Ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner of love. 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 Boogie down, mix up. Boogie down, fix up. The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you groove. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you boogie down. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Boogie down.
Welcome back to Big Train Baseball Network. The home team's got even more work to do now. Bethesda finding themselves down 12-2. It's going to be the top of the order due up for the big train. Justin Nadeau facing Jackson Bauer, as that one's outside for a ball.
Nato with a tall task ahead of him. Big Train has now fallen by 10 runs. Looking for some serious productivity from the plate.
That fly ball into left field is caught. So Aiden Robbins records out number 1, bringing up Andrew Williamson.
Ed Williamson has recorded a pair of base hits this evening.
Andrew Williamson.
Final score in Silver Spring, Crop Dusters take an 8-2 victory over the T-Bolts.
There's a high fly ball into deep right field. Back goes DiMartino. That one's off the wall.
And there is Williamson paying his rent at second base. Records his first double of the evening.
So on a night where offense has been sparse for the big train, the machine continues to produce. His on-base streak remains alive and well, as that'll bring up Davin Whitaker.
It's the bottom of the ninth between the Senators and the Brave Senators, leading 5-3.
First offering to Whitaker is a curveball, missing for ball 1. Now it's been interesting to see the variety of pitches Bauer has in his arsenal. As the 1-0 misses for ball 2. Works with a curveball, slider, and changeup. Has a two-seam that tops out at around 88 miles an hour. As the 2-0 curveball misses for ball 3. Waiting on deck is Gonzalez. Whitaker showing bunt but pulling back. That one in there for a strike. Williamson takes off. Whitaker swings and misses the throw down to third, not in time. Looks like that stuck to White's hand a little longer than he expected. So Williamson swipes third. The count now full on Davin Whitaker.
With one out on the board, Williamson has now put the Big Train's third potential run of the evening just a base away.
The full count offering. That one swung on and missed for strike 3. So Whitaker goes down swinging, bringing up Gonzalez with 2 outs and a runner on third.
Now batting number 45, Emilio Gonzalez.
Gonzalez hoping to bring Williamson home.
First offering in there for a strike.
Again, the Giants currently sitting 10 runs ahead of the Big Train, as we've already moved through 7 innings. Should the Giants tack on 2 more, would cut the game short.
Well, the Big Train would have another opportunity to extend the game since they are the home team. As the count moves to 2-1 on Gonzalez. Now the Big Train have one Mercy Rule victory so far this season. That was against the Grays at Prince George's Community College by a final score of 13-0. And historically, it's been the Big Train on the winning end of these blowout victories. That included last year's opener against the Gaithersburg Giants, where they won 26-0. But as we've said many times before, and as the results have played out this season, it's a new age in the Ripken League. The full count offering to Gonzalez, misses for ball 4. The inning stays alive for the Big Train, bringing up Jaden Bastion with runners on the corners and 2 outs.
Bastion was walked during his previous at-bat.
Now batting number 2,
Looking to take advantage of the runners on the corners with some productive 2-out hitting.
First offering to Bastion, in there for strike 1. Bastion took a walk in his last at-bat. That was the first time he had reached base tonight. As that one's grounded softly, gloved by Martin, fires over to first, offline. Gonzalez booking it to third. Bastion will stand up into second. Williamson scores from third, and the Big Train tack on their 3rd run of the ball game, their first since the bottom of the 1st inning.
Some positive momentum around the base path, bringing in the Big Train's 3rd run of the evening. Jaden Bastion with a double. Now Josh Skronsky looking to bring down the Polish Hammer and continue to eat into the score deficit.
Now we've seen the Big Train almost complete an epic comeback from this same deficit. They were down 13-4 in the bottom of the 9th inning against the Crop Dusters earlier this season. Proceeded to score 8 before falling just short. The 1-0 to Skoronsky, a big swing and a miss on the curveball. That one actually fouled back into the glove of White for strike 1. That one tails outside for ball 2. The 2-1. That one in there for a strike.
So the count now even on Skoronsky, 2 outs on the board. Still have 2 runners on base.
The 2-2 is fouled off. A cameo appearance from Bat Boy Owen Lieber. Another 2-2 pitch. Outside, that'll bring the count full. Bauer tried to fool Skoronski again with the curveball, but to no avail. Landon Franklin waiting on deck. The 3-2 pitch. Skoronski checked his swing on the ball outside, so that'll load the bases with 2 outs for Franklin.
A productive at-bat for Skoronski, looking to capitalize on the loaded bases. Kentucky Wildcat Landon Franklin has the chance to scratch across the 4th run for the Big Train.
Franklin has a couple of home runs this summer. A big opportunity here to chip away into the massive deficit facing the Big Train. Franklin 0 for 3 so far tonight. Entered tonight batting .235 with 20 hits, 2 homers, and 16 RBIs. Looking to come through in a big spot here as Bauer will step off the mound for a moment.
Again, Franklin has yet to reach base so far this evening.
First offering fouled off into the parking lot.
Looking to tack on to the momentum across the base path and bring in the Big Train's 4th run of the evening.
The 0-1. That one inside for a ball. The 1-1 from Bauer fouled off. So Bauer will look to leave the bases loaded. Franklin looking to clear them. The 1-2 pitch. That one inside, evening up the count at 2. Here comes the 2-2 from Bauer. That one swung on and missed for strike 3. So the Big Train leave them loaded, although they do get one back. They trail by 9 heading into the top of the 8th. We'll be right back. You're on Big Train Baseball Network.
The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner alone. 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 Boogie down, mix up. Boogie down, fix up. The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you groove. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you
Welcome back to Big Train Baseball Network. Bethesda still trailing, this time by 9 instead of 10. They were able to get one back in the last half inning. Due up for the Giants, it's going to be Andrew Holub. Going to be 5'6", Holub, White, and DiMartino for the Giants. Facing a new pitcher for the Big Train, it's Trevor Orth out of Roanoke College, making his season debut for the Big Train.
What a Cinderella story. Trevor Orth has been manning the concession stand here at Shirley Povich Field all summer long. Plays his college ball at Roanoke College, now getting the chance to take the mound for the Big Train.
From burgers to baseballs, Trevor Orth.
That's got to be a Disney Channel movie.
Burgers to baseballs? That one's grounded to short. Fielded by Franklin. On to Gonzalez at first for out number 1. So a great start for Orth, as that'll bring up Barham White with 1 out and no one on. Now we say all the time in sports, next man up, next man up. It's all about the next man up. Rarely has a team at any level, I'm sure, gone to the concession stand for a little bit of help, but that is exactly what has happened here. Trevor Orth, making 10 appearances for Roanoke last season, was really solid in those 10 appearances. In fact, his last outing, which was a little over 2 months ago against Lynchburg, allowed just 1 hit in 5 1/3 innings pitched. As the count goes 1-1, the Big Train interns here cheering a little extra loud.
As we mentioned, Trevor has been beloved within the Big Train family and Shirley Povich community.
As the count goes 2-1 on White.
The Big Train interns are very excited to see Orth take to the mound tonight.
As there's a high pop fly into shallow right field. Whitaker calls off Nato for out number 2. So a smooth couple of outs here for Orth as Tyler DiMartino steps up to the plate.
DiMartino recorded a double earlier this evening, which helped bring a lot of success for the Giants. Recorded a walk during his previous at-bat.
Now another interesting statistical nugget about Orth. Allowed 7 earned runs in 21 2/3 innings pitched, but all 7 of those runs came in just 1 2/3 innings. So in the other 20 innings that he pitched, no earned runs.
Definitely a strong arm for Roanoke College, hoping to bring the Big Train some success from the mound.
As the count moves 0-2 on DiMartino. Now it looks like a long shot at this point in time, but perhaps Orth could be the spark to a massive late inning comeback.
We've seen it before, we might see it again.
And he gets DiMartino swinging for out number 3.
What a successful first appearance from Trevor Orth.
From colleague to K-Master, Trevor Orth shuts out the Giants there. We'll be back for the bottom half of the inning shortly here on Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to Shirley Povich Field here at Cabin John Regional Park. The Big Train still trailing 12-3. It'll be 8-9-1 due up for the Big Train. Cole Constable leading things off here in the bottom of the 8th with a new pitcher on the bump for the Giants. It's Wyatt Adams from Whitman College.
Adams, the Seattle, Washington native, pitched 13 innings this previous spring with 13 strikeouts for a 4.85 ERA. In 2022, in his freshman season, recorded a season high of 6 innings pitched and a 12-3 win.
Adams hasn't pitched much this summer, just 7 1/3. As Constable lines that one to Kawashima and on to first for out number 1. So Constable is retired. That'll bring up Jack Guerrero. Adams has only received 1 decision this summer. It was a loss on June 9th against the Senators. Has allowed 5 earned runs in those 7 1/3 innings pitched. Actually picked up a save in his last appearance, his 3rd of the season, and a 12-10 victory over the Grays last week.
Now another update from around the Cal Ripken League. All other games have gone final. Crop Dusters with an 8-2 victory over the T-Bolt. Senators with a 5-3 victory over the Braves. And again, it's the Aces with an extra inning 4-3 victory over the DC Grays.
So a big win there for the Senators as they try and jockey for a host spot. The 2-1 to Guerrero, hit high and deep into left field, but foul. So the count goes even at 2 on Guerrero with 1 out and no one on.
During his last at bat, unfortunately got a late start to the run over to first, which resulted in a inning-ending double play.
As the off speed from Adams misses for ball 3. Waiting on deck is Nato. The full count offering, off speed in there for strike 3. A beautiful pitch from Adams to set down Guerrero, and that'll bring up Nato with 2 outs and no one on here in the bottom of the 8th.
Now batting the Big Train, number 8, Justin Nato.
Again, it was some productive 2-out hitting that allowed the Big Train to tack on 1 more run in the bottom of the 7th. Looking for some similar success on the 2-out hitting.
First offering to Nato is in there for a strike.
Again, Nato been having a strong start to his summer, his first appearance. Reached bat on all 6 at-bats, had another successful night earlier this week in Silver Spring. Kicked things off for the Big Train with a double during his first at-bat.
The 1-1 to Nato, a swing and a miss. On the off speed from Adams, that'll bring the count to 1-2. The 1-2 pitch fouled off. A little self-fire there. Nato fouling that one off of what looked like his leg, so he'll try and walk this one off. So Nato will stay in the game. Andrew Williamson waiting on deck. Here comes the 1-2. That one just missing, evening up the count at 2. Adams really leaning on the off speed here against Nato. That one swung on and missed for strike 3. So Wyatt Adams sets the Big Train down in order. The Giants remain ahead 12-3. When we come back here on Big Train Baseball Network, the Giants will look to add on to their lead even further.
Meet me in the corner alone. 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 Boogie, boogie down, baby. Can you boogie down?
Welcome back to Big Train Baseball Network. The Giants will look to add on to their lead here in the top of the 9th. Trevor Orth still on the mound for the Big Train as his first offering to Lackey is grounded softly to second and on to first for out number 1. So Lackey is retired quickly. That'll bring up the shortstop Kawashima.
And Kawashima has drawn a walk on all 4 at-bats this evening
Number 34, Masa
during
Kawashima.
Trevor Orth's previous inning pitch. Sent him down in order. Hoping to do the same here.
First offering to Kawashima, inside for a ball. So next half inning for the Big Train, it'll be Williamson, Whitaker, and Gonzalez due up. As Kawashima swings and misses big.
Took a real tumble on that.
So big that he could not hang on to his bat. I think he was shooting for the moon there. Holy cow. I don't think I've seen anyone in this league swing as hard as Kawashima just did on that pitch.
It's like a cartoon spin around.
So the count 1-1. 1 out, no one on for the Giants. That offering from Orth outside for a ball. Now it'll be interesting to see next half inning if manager Sal Colangelo empties the bench a little bit. He's shown a willingness to do that when the Big Train need a lot of runs quickly, as the count is evened up at 2 on Kawashima.
Another big swing and a miss, but not as big as his previous.
The 2-2 from Orth. In there for strike 3.
So Kawashima unable to reach base for the first time this evening. A huge K from Cinderella story Trevor Orth.
So that'll bring up Powell with 2 outs and no one on. First offering to Powell, and off speed in there for a strike. Here comes the 0-1. That one in there for strike 2. The 0-2 from Orth, and off speed, fouled off down the right field line off the base of the light tower. So not the kind of light tower power Powell probably wanted, but light tower power nonetheless. Another 0-2 pitch. That one swung on and missed for strike 3.
A very successful night from Trevor Orth. Again, being pulled quite literally from the concession stand into the bullpen and then onto the mound. What a great evening for Orth.
2 scoreless innings from Trevor Orth. We've seen the Big Train almost come back from a 9-run deficit before. Let's see if they can do it again when we come back here on Big Train Baseball Network.
Now batting for the Big
Welcome back to Shirley Povich Field here at Cabin John Regional Park, where the Big Train will look to pull off the incredible comeback, what would be one of the more improbable comebacks I think any of us would have witnessed at any level of any sport. It's going to be a new pitcher, Tanner Sanderoff, taken deep into center field and off the wall by Andrew Williamson. So a great start to the bottom of the ninth for the Big Train. The doubles machine has his second of the night.
Paying his rent once again during his previous at-bat, knocked a double very similarly to the center field wall, which brought in the Big Train's third run of the evening. Now up at the plate, Davin Whitaker.
He's 0 for 4 tonight. Let's see if he can feed off of Williamson as he swings and misses at the first pitch for a strike. Again, it's Tanner Sanderoff on the bump for the Giants. He's been a common call to their bullpen so far this season. As the 0-1 swung on and missed for strike 2.
An uncommon call to the bullpen was Trevor Orth, who pitched in the top of the 8th and the 9th for the Big Train. Once again, literally being pulled from the concession stand.
Might become a little more common as we head into these final few games of the regular season. A scoreless couple of innings for Orth. The 1-2 swung on and missed for strike 3. So Whitaker strikes out for the second consecutive at-bat. That'll bring up Gonzalez. Williamson still at second.
Gonzalez been walked during his previous 2 at-bats. Looking for some similar success at the plate to put a runner on base.
So Jaden Bastion is on deck. Following him in the order is Josh Skoronsky, who's gotten on base a couple of times. That one's ripped past the glove of Powell and into center. Williamson will score easily. It's an RBI single for Emilio Gonzalez. The lead now 8.
Not a bad start to the 9th inning for the Big Train. Williamson tacks on another run for the Big Train. They still have a long way to go, but as you said, we've seen the Big Train come up with huge comebacks before. This would be a very improbable comeback, but it's not over until it's over.
First offering to Bastion's in the dirt for a ball. The 1-0. That one low for ball 2. White can't find it.
It disappeared to the outside of the batter's box. White, unable to locate it, was expecting it to be beneath him.
The 2-0 to Bastion's hit into right center field. That'll drop for a base hit. The Big Train still have a long way to go, but they are off to a really nice start here in the bottom of the 9th. It'll be Josh Skoronsky stepping up to the plate.
Skoronsky started his evening with a base hit, had a walk during his previous at-bat with now 2 runners on base, 1 out on the board, looking to keep the good times rolling in the bottom of the 9th.
Gonzalez on second, Bastion at first. The first offering from Sandaroff is upstairs for a ball. The 1-0, a big swing and a miss. That one actually fouled off into the glove of White for strike 1. The 1-1. That one low for ball 2. The 2-1 line foul down the left field line and out of play. That'll even up the count at 2. Here comes the 2-2. That one in there for strike 3. A big out there for Sandaroff. And it'll be Landon Franklin looking to keep the game alive.
Now batting number 22.
Surprisingly, manager Sal Colangelo has decided not to bring in any pinch hitters. Gonna stick with the starting lineup.
First pitch to Franklin, grounded past Sandaroff. Can't be handled by Kawashima. And so the Big Train stay alive. An uncharacteristic error there from Kawashima at short. That'll bring up Cole Constable with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Now batting for the Big Train.
Now Constable has reached base 3 times tonight.
That was on a hit by pitch, a fielding error, and a walk. Some more good luck at the plate could extend this game for the Big Train. Again, still have a long way to go, but now with bases loaded, things are looking up.
So Constable has, as you said, Phoebe, reached base 3 times in 3 different ways. As he'll take the first pitch for a strike. At this point, I don't think the Big Train nor Constable, nor anyone supporting the Big Train here at Shirley Povich Field would really care how Constable gets on base as long as he gets there.
Maybe he can come up with a creative 4th way to do so.
Here comes the 0-1. That one gets by White. Here comes Gonzalez to the plate. He will score. So all runners advance. That's the 5th run of the ball game for the Big Train. Now 2 runners in scoring position. The count 1-1 on Constable.
The Giants' lead has diminished to 7. Still 2 big train runners in scoring position.
The 1-1. That one swung on and missed for strike 2. The Big Train now down to their last breath. The 1-2 from Sandaroff, fouled off.
So Constable staying alive at the plate. A 1-2 count, 2 outs on the board, 2 runs in scoring position, and a lot of ground to make up for.
The 1-2 upstairs for a ball. The 2-2 pitch, missing for ball 3.
So the count moving full on Constable. Again, it's 2 outs on the board, 2 runners on base, in scoring position.
The full count offering swung on and missed for strike 3, and that's it. For the first time in team history, the Gaithersburg Giants are North Division champions. They have received the bye into the LCS semifinals by a score of 12-5. Phoebe, in the first matchup between these 2 teams, all the way back on opening day, which feels like years ago, the Big Train handed the Giants a 12-3 defeat. As I said earlier in the broadcast, it felt like times might be the same. At least that's how a lot of us here felt, that the Big Train were going to continue their dynastic ways and that the Giants were going to sink back to the cellar of the Ripken League, but the complete opposite has happened. Almost the complete opposite has happened. The Giants are division champions. The Big Train will have to play in at the very most into the LCS semifinals. Phoebe, what have you seen from the Giants this year that has really impressed you? As this is the 6th meeting between these teams, we've seen them a lot.
We have seen them a lot. I think it's just the consistency within play. The first time we saw them, they weren't that strong from the plate, put up a very low-scoring affair, but since then they have been chasing a high almost. They always managed to come up with a complete game in the end. The pitching was very strong today, as you saw. The offense came up with huge explosions to give them a very dominant win over the Big Train. We've seen a lot of great stuff from the Gaithersburg Giants. Every opponent, it seems that they've been able to match up very strongly. They come in big and they are very complete. And that's what's brought them so much success this summer, clinching their first league title of their history.
So a big congratulations to the Gaithersburg Giants. They will have at least a top 2 seed in the Ripken League playoffs. They'll battle it out with Alexandria the rest of the way for the 1 seed. But the Big Train will look to get back on track tomorrow against the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts at Montgomery Blair High School. And that will be one of a few road games to finish off the regular season for the Big Train. And although it was a loss for the home team, it was a great night to celebrate a lot of different people, whether it was our assistant general manager, Patrick Chapman, again, retiring and moving on to bigger and better things over across the water in London at the London School of Economics. Again, we thank him so much for all of the hard work, all of the meaningful work he has put in to this organization that's become really a part of him. And I'll say it myself, the Big Train would not be what it is today without the gracious and hard work of Patrick Chapman. Anything you want to say?
Well, I want to say Trevor Orth, a diamond in the rough for the Big Train in this game this evening, making his first appearance of the summer, stepping out of the concession stand to take to the mound through 2 scoreless innings. looking forward to see him take to the mound later on this summer. And a huge thank you to Patrick Chapman. He's been a wonderful assistant general manager. I've loved working with him this summer. He's done a lot for the Big Train to make this season what it has been. And to Roberto Clemente, his legacy of community service. I was so honored to be able to honor his legacy this morning at the So What Else Food Pantry.
The 15-time All-Star, the 12-time Gold Glover, and one of the best to ever do it, not just for the black and gold in Pittsburgh, but for the game of baseball in general, and also great to celebrate Latin baseball tonight here at Shirley Povich Field. For our producer, Jordan Parham, our producer, Lindsay Morin, who still cannot be with us tonight, hoping to get her back here soon. For our general manager and executive producer, Harrison Myers, our former broadcaster, Adam Glover, again, his AAA debut with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp down in North Florida. Again, a big congratulations to him. I'm Quentin Corpuel saying so long.